thing. So there's a button on the light board that says group. It's right down here. And so then if we do group 9 at some sort of level, and you don't need to remember how to do the board today. I'll make sure you get more comfortable.
Can you clarify where A1 is on the map? Like is A, like I saw that it was A horizontally and vertically was the numbers?
Yes, what the pipes are. Yes.
clarify the
So
piping?
that's, I love it because, you know, the pipes were all given names, but they're not labeled on them themselves. But farthest to stage right.
Perfect.
And
then-
one is going to be the farthest upstage.
Oh.
And so then, I know, I would have done it reverse actually,
Okay.
but yep.
So upstage right is
Yeah.
where it starts, and then
Yeah,
it just
so
screwed it
and I think they did it that way, that
Yeah.
it's like a real map. But yeah, so pipes that go across have numericals, and then the ones that are going up and down stage are letters.
Okay, just wanted to.
Yeah. And I can actually send you all things as a PDF if you're super interested in having it. Yeah. I might just put it in like your resources. Yeah.
Because north is here, yeah?
Yes.
And the map is not showing.
No, it doesn't show a north. We did that when we had a show that had seating in multiple places because then there was no longer an upstage, downstage.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So when you turn something on and you look at your virtual magic sheet, it will give them that value. So you can actually see how you're controlling things. You can also see it over here on the tracking sheet. But this one's a little bit nicer in a video, like in a visual format. So we've got our front light, which helps us see faces. It's like the least sexy of the lighting systems, but it's useful. So we've got that, and like I said, the highest number, it's in this little box here. It will say like group 19. And so when you bring that up, those are gonna be, they're not totally focused, but those are like these top pools. So we sort of use those, we rarely have used them as official top pools. So we kind of use them as the ability to quickly grab and put it somewhere as a special, or we can make it into a whole system. So that one, the top pools can be a little more flexible to our needs. When it says TXT, that's an abbreviation for texture. Texture is made by gobos, and so gobos are physical cutouts in steel or aluminum that then get placed inside the light. And so right now we have a texture in there. These are all fixed units, the ones I've been showing you so far. So whatever color gets put in front of them is constant. We can't change that during the show. And whatever gobo gets put in them is also constant for the show. So that's one where, depending on what the needs of the collective might be, if you're someone who really likes textures and shadows and patterns that are created within the light, then we might want to navigate what could be the most useful without feeling too repetitive then. So right now it's something that's a little organic-ish. It might be some sort of a flame breakup. I'm not entirely sure. It's whatever was left. But there are so many gobos, and I can actually send you a link to like the catalogs that you'd be able to browse through and just say like, oh, that's kind of interesting to me. But a lot of times people will think in terms of either organic or like a rectilinear or construction-y, like something that feels industrial. So those are like two ways that we can really delineate, like, do you want it to feel natural and organic and fluid, or do you want it to feel boxy and industrial and structured? And then what do you want it to do within that? So
do gobos tend, at least in this space, they're fixed? So if we're doing a festival style show, there wouldn't be a case where you're like switching out gobos.
right, because of how high they are.
Heard.
I'll show you where we can switch out gobos, or at least where we can have more option.
And these can't be moved. It can't move.
These do not move.
Okay.
Right. So far, everything that I've shown you is whatever we set it to be. So you can, pick a color for the front light that's going to be used for everyone. The top pulls could be what they want. The texture can be a different texture. It could be blue, purple, it can be whatever kind of color. And then that is then set. So we've got texture that comes from the high sides. And then we also have texture from a sort of top back angle. So it's a little more behind the body than directly on top. And you can see how that's a little bit different based on how the shadows fall. Like if you look at our tree down here, how the shadow's coming just slightly downstage of it as opposed to straight down. So it just gives you a little more angle to it and a little more coverage. So right now this one is glass bricks, in case anyone was curious. And it's got a very pale blue in it. Okay, so those are those. Then we have things that change color. So let me look at so we have, and right now I'm just showing everything that's upstage of where our main curtains are, but this will be cleaner, so it should create a full nice wash to it. These are all LEDs that can change color. They're a red green blue mix. So when you bring them up, every color is going to be at full. And this is where with LEDs, because the color is inherent to the diode itself, you're actually mixing the different colors together to create what it is. So right now with everything at full, it's creating a version of white light. And so what you would do is actually pull out the colors to get to what you want. I personally, my preference for making color is using the color wheels here and feeling like I can control it very, it's like 1 click or 2 clicks or something like that. So one thing that I have noticed, I used to do a lot of color mixing. Like we would try and replicate the original gel colors in our fixed lights and create a match with LEDs. There is something that happens with how everybody's eye perceives LED blue and that it's not consistent, because my coworker and we would mix colors and he and I would see it very differently. So that's just to say, everyone's taste in color is going to be very personal, and so work with your designer or collaborator to make it be what feels right for you. But some other people might see it totally differently, and we never know how people's eyes are responding to color. And so, yeah, TK.
And so these RGB color mixing fixes or treatments, they can be documented or can they be saved in the system already when we're producing specific color matching?
So we can do color palettes. So a long-term project that I'm going to work on with some of the crew is creating color palettes based on our fixtures, so that we have our own library of colors that we can pull from. And those are going to get numbers that are sort of based off of these gel books as a reference for anyone whose brain is like, oh, I like 2006. We would be like, okay, cool. So you can use that color palette as a starting point. But then when we get into show specific colors, we might do them with like decimals. And so, and that's just a way to keep it structured. So if your piece was going to be the first piece in Revel, I might say like, okay, TK, you're going to get everything that's in like the 100 point. And so you would do like 100.1, 100.2, and make specific colors that you like for your piece. And it's just a way so that then if Lisa comes in later that night, Lisa doesn't write over your colors, so that we're assigning numbers to people and that you can save things in specific places. So we'll work toward the comfort level on being able to actually save things in the board and protect yourselves. You can also do your own cue lists within a file, which is also a good way to like keep your stuff somewhere else. So we can also look at that. Cool,
Can
yeah.
you talk about the differences in those 4 wheels?
Yes, oh my gosh, this is the biggest. So we got a new light board because our old board, they don't make it anymore. And I was like, this is amazing. And the one thing they didn't do, there used to be a little LCD screen like this that went right here, and it would tell you what each wheel does. And I don't know why they were so cheap that they couldn't do that. So now where you have to look is right here on this screen. And like every other time I go to reach the wheel, I grab the second wheel instead of the first, and I end up doing the wrong thing. But you can always see what the wheels are. These 4 boxes across the bottom are going to correspond to these 4 wheels.
Cool.
So it's just that extra step of having to look over to the side, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it. But yes, so thank you, Harveen. That's a great question.
And the 4th wheel?
4th wheel, so because we only have 3 colors on this, it's just 3 wheels. Let me go to our moving lights, and then we've got those don't move, but they change color. We've got, I'm just gonna keep going across the thing real quick. So these are our high side LEDs. So just like you saw the high side that's a texture, we have a color wash where we can do that as well. And so you can, you know, mix whatever color you want. You can do it from different sides. Oh, that's not right. So you could also do, you know, blue from one side, pink from the other, or however you're wanting to mix it. So this is where the flexibility, and especially with our sort of like concert style, festival style shows, that we're able to get a whole lot more variety in here. So you have LED for top lights, you have LED for high side lights, and they don't move, but you can change their color. And then we have our moving lights. So they start off small. These are wash units. So what they can do is we can do a pan and a tilt with them. So we can, you know, I'm gonna do them all together first, but you can also, yeah. So you can see they're set to do the same movement, which is kind of helpful if you're wanting to do the whole wash. I went through this morning and did, I made them all sort of a full stage wash together. So that's also something where we can save specific focuses. So you can play around with it and save them either as a word preset. So we have a button for presets, or focus palettes. So those are 2 ways to think about where your light wants to be and what parameters you want to save with it.
Kate, can I ask
Yeah.
a question? So you see the transition that just happened?
Yes.
Can you program them so they're more kinetic? So the lighting isn't just about intensity or color, but actual movement?
You can do that.
Okay,
And
what's the capacity of these? Like, can they take a lot of movement?
They can.
Okay.
Do you have more specific?
Just exactly
Yeah.
what that transition was. Like, I can imagine it transitions to that, and then like 15 seconds later, it moves and moves and moves and stays.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just the choreography of lighting.
Yes, and so every movement is going to be a new cue.
Okay, great. Understood.
Yep. So that's.
And these are the only sets of lights that can do that movement.
We've got one more.
Oh, great. Love that.
I know.
Yes.
So these are our washes. We have 9 that are over the stage. So we can also, you know, when you think down center, upright, you can think of our tic-tac-toe board. We've put a light top-wise for each one of those. We have more of the LED tops. That goes 5 across instead of 3, just because of how they fill the stage. But you can kind of see the tic-tac-toe board thing that's happening with most of this. So we just upgraded our overstage moving lights, and then we took the old ones and we sort of sprinkled them around the space to give us a few more flexibilities.
Amazing.
So these are all wash, and they are also color mixing. So You can, now you can see this blue looks very different than the blue we saw before when it was
purple.
true blue. And so that's gonna be, you know, to the liking of your eye. It is, one of the things that I will say gets a little tricky is that we can't really make it more blue than this, if that makes sense. Because this is blue at 100 with nothing else. And then the second you start adding stuff to it, it gets less saturated.
Yeah.
So you can figure out what that wants to be for your eyes taste. And a little bit of red goes a long way in these fixtures. Like that's just 5% red. And that's because this blue in particular is very on the purple side of the spectrum. Cool. But these can all mix color, and let me just grab one. Actually, I'll grab this one. So we've got 4 other ones that we did in corners. One of them is not working great right now, so I'm just gonna play with this. Oh, and so when you're wanting to do these knobs, you have to capture the light, and then it's gonna show you if it has parameters. So right now it's showing me color. I would need to click on focus to be able to move it. So that's where then I can start changing where it's gonna go. And this is where, this is an Aura as well. So that's the brand, it's a Mac Aura, the brand and the model. And so we actually wrote it down on there, it's an Aura spare, and then these are, where'd it go? Those are our Auras as the full unit. So we've got 9 over the stage, and then we have 3 downstage.
Amazing.
Can you, how small can the range of the circle be?
So
versus-
yes. So this is at its smallest, and that is gonna be under form. You'll see the word zoom is gonna control how big and how small it is. So 11% or 11 degrees is the smallest. And yeah, go ahead, TK.
No, I have no
Okay. So as you move it, as it gets farther away from the unit itself, it's gonna get bigger, right? And so when I when I go to the tree, you can see that it's lighting the whole tree even from that far away. Whereas when I go back down to this mannequin, it's smaller because it's gonna get bigger as it goes farther away.
Kate,
Yes, Jeff.
so sorry.
No, you're fine.
So you just released an emergency
Oh, God.
notification to evacuate Norland, Ketchum.
That's something that's always really interesting to me. And if I can do something with one light source, the shadows may be a little different depending on where someone is or where something is in the space. But it's singular as opposed to when we take the whole thing. Let me do this. So there, the shadows start to get diluted because
Right.
there are multiple lights on, and so the bleed is washing out the shadows. Yeah.
Kate, those corner LEDs,
Uh-huh.
are you calling them Aura lights?
Yes. So they're
Can-
up here in the
yeah.
far corners.
Can those change tone, or do they just
They
have
can
one?
as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So all of our auras can change color.
Could you show like a warm gold
Yeah.
type of?
Let's see. Let me try. That was a terrible option. Let me see. What do I want to do? I want to take this down. I want to bring this up.
It's giving sunset.
So something in there maybe. It's a little yellow.
Yeah, like a warm light versus a, like cool. What are words?
Yeah.
Not cool, but still white. If that makes sense.
So
Yeah, like
I can
that.
Go, yep. So if I go closer to white, then yeah, and try and find the balance where it's not feeling green.
Right.
Yeah. So you can do
Sick.
that, and you could do even a complement from the other side, maybe. Okay. And then. So then you
It's
can
cool with the
play
shadows.
with that and add in like a little bit of a coolness. Whoops. We can do that. Sorry, what were you asking, TK?
I used to talk to
You're talking to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Love that. Yeah, so I love having these like corner options. One of ours, I have to get it swapped out, but we also have it that you can do it from the front corners as well. Which is also hopefully gonna make it that if if you're pulling people into the audience, we've got options out here to light people a little more easily. So that's a lot of our overhead. I'm gonna, but then Jad, you were asking, oops, let me do this.
Yeah, I'm curious about that thing you mentioned about
Let me see.
the fake blackout.
Yes.
Yeah, just to see about the house lights on.
Yeah, let me bring up, this one light's gonna warm up real quick. So we have 4 moving lights that are spots as opposed to a wash. Is it Sam Intel? I think it is Sam. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So there's actually a tab over here that's a moving light control, and you can actually see all of these parameters. So this light, yes, so these have to actually be lamped on. So these have an arc source in them, so we have to, it's not just that we turn the power on, we actually need to tell the lamp to fire up.
I see, okay.
So that's where it's continuing to get to its brightness. I think now it is. But it can, so we can zoom it all the way out, and then we can adjust the edge of it to make it, sharp. You can also, there's an iris in there if you want to make it small in a different way. Or if it's all the way zoomed down and you want to iris it really small, and I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Where's this person? How tight can I get? Let's see. I wanna see.
How small does it get?
That's what I was just, that we can make a line on the floor. You can make, with some practice, you can get a triangle to happen. Yeah. So this can create some pathways. And, whoop, and I closed it. Whoops.
So this could potentially also create a room with light.
Yes.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask about that later.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh.
Just
I'm gonna. To make a choice sort of like in preparation for tech or during the process.
Are they digital goggles?
No.
How do they get their shape?
They are still like laser cut
they
pieces
just
of steel, but they're like this big.
Microscope, okay,
Yes.
Are there these
Yeah.
photos that could give the illusion of a maze, or be like chunky enough to project like a maze type?
There is, I think, depending on what you want the maze to be. The other thing is that, we have 4 of those that we could do shutters and create some pathways.
Okay.
So then that's an option. So let's see. So we've got that looks like stars or dots. This one is sort of like a linear organic. What's next? This one that's a little more boxy, broken.
How are you queuing this? Just the button?
Yeah, if you want to come see, there's a place where when you have a moving light with multiple parameters, it's called ML controls. And so then that's where I was saying the pictures don't line up. I'm gonna have someone reprogram this, but you can just click through and then it's gonna switch to the other one. Cool. So we've got squares and, oh yeah, that one's colorful. And this, And so these, instead of being an RGB mix, it's cyan, magenta, and yellow flags that you can mix
CMYK?
in. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So even with this gobo that has color, you can still do some fun things by mixing color into it and like deadening out certain colors and amplifying other aspects of it. So even though it is like its own color, there's something fun about playing around with that too. Okay, I'm trying to think of this. Oh, and this also has, take this, it, in addition to those flags, it has actual color chips, because even with your CMYK mix, you're never gonna be able to get a true red like this. So any that are CMYK, they usually put a red chip in and something that can be not replicated. So the green, we've got a light green, this pale lavender, which is actually kind of nice. It's a little bit colder. And let's see, aqua, and that's blue even though the picture's pink. Yep.
Can you put a blue up?
This blue chip,
No, like a
Or-
blue light?
a different blue light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to see what it looks like on black skin.
Oh, yes. Let me do,
Or melanated nuns.
yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do you mind standing there for a sec?
Sure. I don't.
You don't mind? Okay, great. So that's our like pure blue. Yeah. Yeah. Cameras have a hard time capturing this level of blue sometimes. But then
You're illuminated.
yeah,
like
the
we
more
can
that
see
I
you.
bring in the other colors, we're still playing with a range of blue, but gaining more visibility. Yeah. Yeah, there's also so much of with everything else. So in our booms, when we work our way, so on the magic sheet, the lowest unit is going to be on the right-hand side of the screen and the highest unit. So if you were to like take this, if we had a tall monitor, we could do it the other way so it would actually stack up, but we didn't, so we went this way. But that aside, so the lowest unit is an LED color changing shin. The one thing that the lowest unit on a boom can do that no other lights can do is its ability to light the body without lighting the floor. They are like, there's such a functionality to it. With this wood floor right now, you can see the flare of it, but these lights, you do a shutter cut so that it's not actually lighting the floor. So if I've got Jad standing there and I want, so we can fully color or paint in the floor and the environment around a body. Let's see, I'll bring this one up as well. And these shin lights give us the ability to really control what we're seeing on the humans in the space without also changing the floor or the background. Does that make sense? So like there's a real functional quality to these lights, and because they're color changing, then you can make one side blue and the other side's kind of white, and you're creating an environment and a space and all of that around a person. As we start to...
Sorry, can I ask you
Oh,
a quick
yeah.
question? The
Yeah.
booms are the structure and the shins are the lights?
The booms are the structure. You could also hear it referred to as a lighting tree or a lighting tower, depending, but it's, you know, we call them our booms or our towers.
Okay.
And so we've got 6 in ours. And so we've got the shins on the bottom. And then we have a second set of shins going up. These do not change color. And so these would be whatever color is chosen to sit inside them. It gives you a good option for something a little more neutral, that then you could light it this way with something either warm and then bring in the opposing side or the same one. Oops. In another color, so that you're filling in together. Let's see, so working our way up. Right now we've got gobos in the booms. So we've got 4 units. Our towers have 6 units in them. 4 of them will be fixed, whatever they are, and then the other 2 are LED. So this gives you a good option to get texture in from the sides, and the texture could change color. Like we can put a color in it. So it could be warm, it could be blue, it could be, you know, whatever makes sense for you.
The shadows that are happening on the wall.
That's from the gobo. Yeah, so that is similar to when we turn on this on the floor, except with seeing it from the side, it's just coming at a different angle then. And so now you're seeing the shadows over on the wall. Yes.
Can we see booms, just booms at full?
All of it?
Just see the chins. I'm just
Oh,
curious,
sure.
just to see the effect of a full
Yeah.
shade of Northern Light.
Yeah.
Are shins all of the lights on the boom or specific ones?
You know what? I'm gonna do this. Shins are just the lowest unit.
Okay.
And because we have, with the set of 6, we sort of refer to the lowest 2 as shins.
Yep.
So we have an LED, like a low shin and a high shin. Then we have a low mid and a high mid.
Got it.
And then we have a head, and then we have an LED head. So that's the highest unit.
Bless you.
Head is the top? or
Head is the top, and the,
LED is after?
well, the LED is the top.
LED, head,
Yep.
and then high, mid, low, mid.
Yes.
High,
Yep.
low.
And that's how it's labeled over here on the virtual magic sheet. Yeah. And let me see, what else was I gonna say? Oh, so another fun thing. So with the shins, you're always gonna have that cut off the floor because that's what they're designed to do. That's why they're as low as possible, to keep the light on the body and keep it off the floor. Once you start moving up from that, you can focus it however you want. Last year for Anya's piece, I just went around and started yanking lights all over the place and just making them do fun shapes and things with one system. With these having gobos in them, I think they're kind of all set up to have like a soft texture, but with a bottom cut that's landing right around center line, so that if you take one side out versus the other, you've sort of got that definition. But this is where like everything becomes a little more flexible and you make choices on what you like to see. What I like with, so with that second unit from the top, you can do an interesting thing where you take the bottom cut off the floor as well as the shin. And so it's called a heads only focus. And you can put a color in that's gonna look really nice for your faces. So something in a slightly neutral, maybe a lavender, a blue, or a pinkish warm, depending on what the needs are. And then you could take your LED heads and then your lighting, but right now it's very neutral, and you could take that, oops. Ah, I hit too many buttons. Let's see. So then you can actually fill it in with a color around, but then you're preserving the ability to see your faces, and how that's interesting. So those are just what I was hoping to do today, because I know we're cutting it close now, is just to show you what the tools are and how they can be utilized. Okay. So it's, you know, thinking about the shins as how you can light the body separate from the space and what that can do for you functionally.
So if that's the first step, next step, dimmer room. For the grads, it's right next to the, it's down the hallway in the grad office. It's the little, there's like a piece of paper. You know. This is the dimmer room. Right
crazy.
on the left side. There are two things we need to do down here. Is turn on our power and turn on our dimmers. Power is denoted, I already told you this, by orange. Lights is orange and yellow. Yellow you don't technically always need to turn on, I just do. So orange and yellow. Purple is projectors, blue is sound. And then there's one more breaker panel all the way in the back over here.
And orange again?
Yeah, orange again. And those are the stuff they need to hit. Lovely.
And on is in?
On is in, yeah.
Okay. All that gotta be on. All the oranges gotta be in.
It's just so that way it warms up the dimmers. When I told you earlier that like if you turn it on at full right away, a lamp can blow. We don't want to do that. Lamps are fucking expensive. So we want to warm them up first. So all we're gonna do is when the board loads up, it should have the Q side of the thing should look like this, with 0.1 and 0.2. All you're gonna do is you're gonna hit the go button, and then it starts to warm up. And what that does is it turns on all the lights in the space. I already said, just slowly. So that way, slowly, and then it'll fade out after like 2 minutes. So we wait for 2 minutes. Yay! What I'm gonna do next is called a dimmer check. It's just checking to make sure every one of the lights in the space works, just because if it doesn't, we need to fix that because they're probably used in the show. So for that, the keystrokes for it is you just want to hit 1. You want to hold down more SK, this button here, and press image. Hold on.
One at full.
Oh, yeah, I'm stupid. 1 at full, check. And that will get, and then once you hit enter on that, that should turn on channel 1 wherever that is. I see it right there on the floor. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hit the next button. And that will cycle over through the next light, and you just keep doing that and making sure that a light is on every single time you do it, except for channel 420, because that's A's. And so it's just going through that and making sure that something turns on. You might want to show the camera over there.
And you want to look out, you don't want to look at the computer, because the computer will say it's on at full, but if you can't see it, then something's wrong with the fixture itself.
And so it's just doing this for every single one of the lights. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. Think that, and then I mean, I think that's all the stuff that's not pertinent to show. The rest of the stuff, blackout checks and stuff like that, would be pertinent if you're running a show. This is just turning on and powering on the system.
Tight.
Key list, channels, tables, channels, magic sheet. And so these two are essentially the same thing, just formatted in different ways. This is a more visually oriented one. This is a more programming based one. This shows you where everything is essentially pointing in the space. So if I were to turn on channel 1, just really quick, you can sort of see that it turned on where it says on the and each of these borders is meant to represent the iRead and where everything is in the iRead. And so, I mean, basic key commands, the stuff you're going to start off with is just your basic numbers and at full or at specific percents. And so let's say I wanted to turn channel 1 at full. 1 at full, enter. You don't need to hit at when you're putting full or out, but it's when you're learning, it's easiest to just always put the at in there. And so that will turn on a channel. You can also, and then out, we'll take it out. Whenever you do turn something on, nope, that's getting too far into it. So, that's how you turn off and on stuff. If you want it at like a specific value, so that way it's not always fully on or fully off, that's where the at comes into play. Let's say I wanted one at 50%. I will hit one at 50, enter. And channel 1 will turn on at 50, at about half its normal intensity. And yeah, that works like a percentage essentially. And so that applies to every single channel mostly.
You can also use the wheel.
Yeah, you can also use the wheel. I tend not to just because I feel like manual values are easier, but it's if you want to just like eyeball it, this little wheel here will dim it up and down. Great. And then also there's combination buttons. So let's say I wanted to turn on channels 1 and 2. I don't have to hit 1 at 50, enter, 2 at 50, enter. I can just hit 1 plus 2 at 50. And that turns on, that grabs both 1 and 2 and turns them on to 50. And it's, yeah, and just so you don't have to do, oh, I want 7 channels on. We're gonna have to do this thing 7 fucking times. And then along with that, the through button is in there as well. So let's say I wanted to turn on an entire group of our downlights, front lights. 1 through, and all of the main stuff is going to be on this keybind here. 1 through 9 at 50 again. And now, all of the channels 1 through 9 are at 50%. Yay!
Neato.
And let's say I wanted to turn on channels 1 through 9, but I don't want channel 5 because it's ugly and I hate it.
Yeah.
I would do 1 through 9 minus. This is not, the dash is not through, the button that says through is through. The dash is minus. 1 through 9 minus 5 at 50. And that will turn on 1 through 9, except for 5 at 50. Whatever.
What are we doing now?
We are lamping on our moving lights. Let's say that I wanted to use the moving lights, and I put them on at full. Nothing happened.
Oh, no.
Oh no, they're not working. No, they work differently than the other fixtures. They need to have an internal lamp on. The way that it dims is like a little circular or like a piece of metal goes under the bulb, and that like and with the diffusion that sort of lowers the intensity. But the lamp needs to be on for that to work.
Okay.
So how that works is you want to hit 181 through 184 and select those lights. By hitting enter, you can see that they're selected when it's highlighted. What you're going to do is then there's an about button on the top right hand corner of the board that you're going to hit, and that'll bring up this. In this whole thing, there's a whole bunch of stuff. We don't need to know what all that stuff does. We need a lamp on. Lamp on, power 100. Click that, please confirm, hit enter. And now those guys are warming up, and whenever the lamps turn on, you're good to turn them out. Or I think it's fine if they're on. You can sort of see how they start to warm up.
Okay.